Welcome back to Kenan and Kel with Adam and Aaron. I'm your host, Adam.
And I am Aaron.
And we are coming at you with another episode of Kenan and Kel Program, the 90s Nickelodeon sitcom. This one where we hail to the chief in the Line of Kenan, episode 9 of season 1.
Yeah, what an episode. What a very world-expanding, perspective-altering episode.
Yeah, so world-expanding that Amazon declined to air it.
This is not found on Amazon Season 1.
No, we had to... someone is doing God's work and uploading Kenan and Kel to YouTube right now. I don't know how long the clips will stay up there, but I have this one back from my old bootleg DVD set from high school.
I wonder why Amazon doesn't have this episode. Do you think it's because of the introduction part?
The introduction part's a little... Yeah, it's
dated.
I think it might also be the content of the episode, too.
Okay, we're going to get into it. Don't you worry, people. I know you're sitting on the edge of your seats. The political climate in the United States today is, well, not very welcoming. It's more or less an all-out war, with two diametrically opposed factions scrapping it out tooth and nail, trying to obliterate the other side. But this isn't how it always was. The two-party system made sense at first. A balance between big government and small government seemed a necessary polarity in a world full of sliding scales and nuanced perspectives. For a while, the American political system was fairly effective. Something appears to have gone wrong, though, in the 21st century. These two factions started being bought out by private interest groups, companies who had their own agendas, and their biases started to show. Fueled by the separatist media, the factioned and fractioned behemoths started to show their true colors, that is, until one man, who was outside of this corrupt system entirely, ran for the highest office in the land. When elected, President Trump had the opportunity to burn private interest political system to the ground and create a new system that actually fought for the American people. Instead, he tweeted about how bad the Democrats were. He simultaneously became the most famous and most divisive elected official in the entire world. But how does one man become so powerful? Why is the President of the United States so important? Aren't there two other equally powerful branches of the United States government, the judicial and the legislative? How can one person change the world so much? Perhaps this was by design. Perhaps the Founding Fathers knew the importance of centralized command, Washington gave them a good example, and needed the leader of the country to be someone who represented the people, not private interests. Perhaps they wanted the United States to be run by a unified, competent individual, someone who was unfazed by the allures of instant gratification, someone with their head on their shoulders, who wasn't careless with their power but careful, who knew the power they had and didn't ever want it to fall into the wrong hands. Such a competent leader would never let delicate international affairs fall apart because of their carelessness. But for one slusho-loving, Elvis-adoring Kablitzer of a president, this is exactly what happens. The protector of freedom gives just a little too much freedom to his White House guests, Keenan Rockmore and Kel Kimball. Because of the mistake of a distracted president, the free world all but unravels in front of us.
So we start off with an intro that I'll have you know that the intro and outro to this episode comments. This is one of the few times where they have nothing to do whatsoever with the actual episode.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, it's very disconnected. But yeah, Kenan and Kel appear on stage wearing what can only be described as felt outfits.
Felt.
Right?
Felt. F-E-L-T. Felt.
Yeah, like they're Muppet characters.
Kel is wearing like a tan felt shirt that has like some stripes going along like the shoulder seam-ish. And Kenan is wearing a blue felt button-down like short sleeve collared shirt. that has it's light blue like paneling and then dark blue sleeves and trim.
They should be careful next to each other, or else they'll like get some static buildup.
Yes, they definitely could.
Yeah, it's a really weird look. But they proceed to Kenan starts off and says, "Hey everyone, welcome to the show." Then Kel's like, let's welcome the French people watching, and then proceeds to do the intro in French.
Or so we believe it's in French.
Yes. How's your French?
I don't even know how to say my French is not good. Oh, je ne parle pas français. That is, I do not speak French.
Yeah. Oui.
Okay. So anyways, we both clearly don't know whether and I don't know about you, Adam, but I did not take notes on what he said and translate it because
no, I zoomed in on some other parts of this episode. That was not one of them. But honestly, from my, to my ear, it sounded like he did just the French versions of a couple words that we know.
Yeah.
Like it's not off.
Yeah.
It's not off yet. Kenan does his attempt at Swedish, let all the Swedish fans know that they're loved.
Yes, and so then he blabbers on some just Swedish sounding words. I really, really don't think that it's Swedish. I've never heard somebody talk in Swedish.
Yeah, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that, hey, they're probably like, I feel like they did their equivalent of Google Translate back then, and then Kenan and Kel themselves did no kind of it was 1996. These guys weren't paying attention to stepping on any toes culturally or anything like that.
No, absolutely not.
To which Kel finally brings in the joke in for a landing with his his Chinese
Japanese
intro.
Japanese. How dare you?
Japanese. Oh, I apologize.
How dare you? And then so after Kel goes and does his Japanese, which is very similar to episode 6, the sweater, Mo Sweater Blues.
Yes, where he makes a Chinese food order.
Chinese, yes, very similar style of just And then Kenan says in reply, "Did you just say?" I wrote it down.
Oh, good.
What a China Showa Koso. I don't know. I don't think that's real.
No, and it's probably been mispronounced so many times between you and Kel and Kenan.
I'm deeply sorry.
It's nothing. There's way too many words between Kenan and Kel in their translations.
Yeah, there's too much happening. It's a weird introduction, but anyways,
I think Kel ends it with a good joke.
He does. He says, "Oh, aquí vamos sonos vice." Oh my gosh, I can't read my handwriting. It's not.
He is the Japanese version of "Oh, Here It Goes."
No,
right?
no, that's Spanish, my friend.
Is it?
That is so Spanish. We are not very what do you call it? Seasoned?
Aware. Culturally seasoned. Yeah, I like seasoned.
I have not traveled the world. I have not given these languages enough time. I am deeply sorry to anybody who may have found these past 5 minutes not so tasteful.
I also like Kel's. He has a good joke where he says, "Kenan, we're not done. What about the Canadians?"
Yeah. Of course, Canadians speak Canadian, right?
Yes. Time to get into Rigby's.
So we open up to Kenan fixing the Slusho machine
and singing the Slusho jingle,
which comes up again in just a couple minutes. Anyways, so Kenan is fixing the machine, and Chris is mad that he's singing the jingle. So,
yeah.
So
do you know this jingle? Did you hear it?
Oh no! Can you please elaborate on it?
It's kind of muffled, like the second half of it, but I think it goes Slusho, Slusho, an icy, icy treat. Slusho, Slusho, and then something, something sweet. which is not a good jingle in my book.
Something very sweet, maybe. No,
Yeah,
no. I mean, it's definitely not a good jingle.
Not even like a little catchy. I wish the writers had spent a little extra time on that.
How dare they do this? How dare they make a bad jingle?
As I was having dinner earlier, I was trying to think of a better one.
Slusho. Anyways, Chris is very upset that he keeps singing this. So Chris, and then Kenan says, "It's okay, I just finished." And then he finishes up, and Chris goes to try the Slusho machine out, and the Slusho machine, of course, fires right in Chris's face, gets slushy or Slusho all over him, and this is of course how we start the episode.
Yep. Followed shortly behind by an order has come in for Rigby's.
The delivery man rolls in 10 cases of orange soda.
How many cans of orange soda is that?
1,880?
I counted 24 per
24?
Per case.
Okay, so
Yeah,
240 cans.
Yeah, 6 across and 4 deep.
Okay, I couldn't tell if it was 4. Yeah, it does look like 4.
Yeah, a lot of cans of orange soda.
Yeah, many. Unbranded, or is there? It looks like there is kind of a brand on it.
I think they made their own, like, kind of just dummy orange soda brand.
I mean, why wouldn't they?
Yeah, they otherwise they'd be like, giving Fanta just so much extra money.
Yeah, a lot of product placement deals. Yeah, so yeah, 10 cases of orange soda, and Chris is very confused because he didn't order that many cases of orange soda or any orange soda at all. But of course, we know somebody somehow
loves orange soda.
Yeah, somebody loves orange soda and somehow figured out how to place an order to the Rigby store. However, it worked back in 1996.
Yeah, so Kel rolls in and they accuse him of doing such, and Kenan uses his Achilles heel of the orange soda jingle, an actual jingle.
A real jingle. A timeless jingle.
To get him to admit that he ordered it. Or in Kel's words, I did. I did.
Is this the second time we heard the jingle?
Oh, no. It's been
3 times so far?
Many episodes.
Really? So far?
It was in the Cold War.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, Mo Sweater Blues.
Oh,
Mental
man.
Telepathy.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's all my episodes are blending together.
One of us has to keep track.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't have the spreadsheet. You do.
Yes, I do.
Anyways, well, Kel does love orange soda, and yeah. So
I like the delivery guy's follow up where Chris asked, "Do you want me to sign?" I do.
Yeah, it's a good little wrap up to this opening bit.
So what do Kenan and Kel do with this surplus of orange soda cans?
They make a castle display.
Or as Chris calls it.
Well, let me see. An orangeatorium.
Yep. Which is it's a pretty it's an impressive structure.
Yeah, it's a different structure. Definitely creative.
It's definitely not real. Like there's cans just like floating in midair. They're not stacked.
I didn't even. Yeah, they are very much stuck together.
Yeah, and as we later learn, in some of the wreckage that happens after this Chekhov's gun goes off, a lot of them look very empty and just kind of.
Hey. We didn't get there yet.
For the purposes of the canon, these are 240 full soda cans.
Yes. So, anyways, Chris is he said something about finishing a sign. Did you catch that?
Yes. He's holding up he comes back with a sign that has the orange soda prices.
Okay,
on it.
that's what I figured it was. It's an orange sign. So,
I couldn't make out the sign though, but he's so valuable information for the show. knowing how much money they go through this episode,
it would be very valuable.
Yeah, so I just have to spitball it.
Yeah, I wonder how much 10 cases. I'm sure you have an estimate.
It's in bulk, so it's probably a lot of
discounted
that's
price.
That's
true.
But all of a sudden, a bunch of suited, sunglassed men show up in Rigby's.
Yes, they ask Kenan, who's behind the counter, who's in charge here, And then Kenan and Kel do this funny little bit where they're like, Kenan is basically just like, I'm in charge. I'm the one in charge. Like, I'm the man. And then the guy wearing sunglasses and an earpiece pulls out his badge, and he says he is Jeffrey A. Levinson of the Federal Bureau of Security.
Yes, the FSB, as they're later acronymed.
FBS.
No, Chris calls them the FSB because they're the Federal Security Bureau.
Is it not Federal Bureau of Security?
They say both. That's
no.
the problem
no.
with this.
Wait, what is it called? The people who watch the president.
They're the Secret Service. Neither of those are the correct name for them.
They don't have like a special bureau or anything like that?
I don't believe so.
Well, we clearly didn't do our homework. Anyways, they tell Kenan and Kel, and soon Chris, who, of course, lets them know that he is the owner and in charge, he tells them that the president is right outside.
He was in town meeting with the mayor. How did Chris know about that?
Because Chris has a radio in his car. This is not the best.
Not a joke.
No, it's not a joke. No. This is not a good Chris episode.
Oh, I'm all behind that. I think some other people shine in this episode, but not Chris.
Chris is not good in this episode. He repeats this line, "I have a radio in my car," like he's almost in a state of shock.
But yeah. Yes, no, they get instructed to do what normal people do, which Chris jokes that, does that mean Kel has to leave?
That was pretty funny. That was a good one.
But yep, then the president arrives in Rigby's. Did you recognize the president?
I think the president was like definitely a play on Bill Clinton.
Yes, correct. And that's not something I got when I watched this as a kid. I did, because I didn't recognize the president at the time, and I think by then it was we're on to W. Bush. But yeah, no, that he does a pretty definitely a comical take, but I think he nails a lot of Clintonisms.
You know what's funny? I'm looking at a side profile of this president, and he has I can say this because I have a big nose, but he has a pretty big nose. It almost looks like they added like a little bit of nose to make it look like he has a longer nose than he does, which would be a sign that he's lying.
Oh,
it's almost like a jab, like a Nickelodeon sly jab at the Oval Office.
Yeah, no, but I think you're correct. He has a fake nose added
is that true? That's so random.
To make him look more cartoony, like a cartoony version of Clinton.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a wig too, gray wig.
Oh yeah. But I didn't do my homework on this guy, but I feel like he's like someone that they know that does a good Clinton.
Right.
Like the creators of the show.
Right. Yeah, he's like somebody's pal.
Absolutely, and he definitely does his job because Chris sets him up for the perfect delivery. Right? He says, "There stands the most."
Oh yeah,
what is it? The most.
There stands the most distinguished, powerful leader of the free world.
And he says, "Slushos, out of my way!"
Yeah, and so he sees a slusho machine. Oh, that's hard to say. And he and he walks over to it, and of course Chris and Kenan and Kel are kind of hesitant because they know that the machine squirts in people's faces, and of course there's press and there's people everywhere, so this would not be good for the president.
But it goes over smoothly.
Yeah, luckily he gets his slusho, and then he.
Were you bugged by the fact they only got like a third of a slusho?
He got only a little bit in an open cup with the bendy straw. Very random.
He seemed like the biggest fan of slusho ever.
Yeah, he got like a little bit.
Yeah, there's definitely. Well, I just find it funny because they had this, I guess, kind of a childish, comical play on the president when, there's, we've fallen so far since then.
Yes.
Yeah, imagine if, say, W. Bush was the president at this time. How?
Yeah, so, and then Kenan goes, "Oh, I just fixed that machine." And he goes, "What is your name, son?" And Kenan replies,
Key.
"Nice to meet you, Kiki." Really, really good joke. It kind of lasts the whole episode.
Yeah, I love how, and that's continuous throughout the episode until they go to Washington. Everyone in that encounters the president is so like flabbergasted, like they are at a loss for words.
Exactly. Yeah. Everybody's so amazed to see him.
And what does how does Kel answer the question? What's your name?
Sharona.
Yeah. just
out of nowhere, out of left field. Yeah, when it's time for Chris to introduce himself, he repeats the line that he already said. I have a radio in my car.
just a real knee slapper gets.
Yeah, really, really funny, Chris.
You know what? I'm putting that below the chipmunk has pneumonia.
What are you talking about? Chipmunk has pneumonia is like the best. That's like the best skit.
I'm
just kidding.
Well, I'm saying that it's in terms of lazy fill-in-the-blank jokes.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Pretty bad Chris moment. Anyways, so the president is then blown away at the Orangeatorium, and he says, "What a groovy soda display."
To which Kenan, before any Secret Service, reacts, before the structure itself shows any signs of toppling over, says, "Mr. President, look out!"
He runs around the counter and dives. Of course, there's no people between him and the president. There's this big open space.
It goes slow motion so you can capture every detail.
And Kenan like throws a forearm in the president's chest, knocks him over. Everybody's so surprised. And then, of course, the Orangeatorium falls, and Kenan gets up, the hero, risen from the ground, and he has to go to the hospital because he is so badly wounded by his heroic act.
Yes. Two things I want to note. You said they pushed the president out of the way. Did you see what his other elbow did?
No. Oh, probably knocked down the orange.
Yeah. Pretty much like clothesline the castle.
That's fantastic. Self-fulfilling prophecy, some would say.
Speaking of which, though, do you know what this means for Kenan?
I don't.
In reference to some of our previous episodes, Kenan has accomplished one of his life goals.
No way.
Kenan life goal number 1.
Save somebody's life.
Save someone's life. And not just anybody, he saved the president's life.
It's pretty remarkable, Kenan. Kiki.
So, yeah, he climbed something really adventurous and he saved someone's life. So, he's 2 for 3 at the age of 15 on his life goals.
Wow. Let this be known that Doing It the Hemingway is definitely the most referenced episode, cross-referenced episode in Kenan and Kel with Adam and Aaron. Let me just say.
I agree. It's got some real richness to it.
It's got some meat on the bones.
We keep going back to it. We should. So we'll return to it again when Kenan professes his love to a girl, if that truly occurs, or Kel spanks a walrus.
I hope he does. Anyways, so that's kind of the end of that scene. It's pretty funny, but okay. Anyways, we of course transition, and we see a great looking TV propped up on like, I mean, if you're listening to this podcast, you probably are familiar with this, but you know how in classrooms they used to have like the TV on the platform in the corner of the room.
Yep. Yeah, the big old tube TV in the corner.
Yep. I miss those days. But anyways, yeah. So it's a news report about the president's life being saved.
This is a neat thing that you might not know. Not a fake news report setup. It's MTV News, and that was the real MTV News like logo and anchor.
Oh, no way!
At the time, yeah, Kurt Loder.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I was reading up trivia on that. I found that really interesting. That because it looked professional, right? Like a lot.
It did.
Higher quality than say the Slusho writing.
Yeah, pretty good.
But yes, they recount what happened in Chicago, how the president was in danger, and he was saved by a teenager named Kiki.
Yeah, only known as Kiki.
Which cut to Kenan in the hospital bed, angrily shouting, "My name's Kenan!"
Yes. Kenan has a special visitor come in that the nurse excitedly alerts him of, and and Kenan's mom says, no, he doesn't need any more visitors right now. He needs to get some rest. Again, I don't know what the injury is. I don't know how pushing somebody over results in the need to be hospitalized overnight.
Yeah, right. It's got to be some kind of internal injury from being hit with 240 soda cans,
Maybe.
or maybe like half that, like 120.
Anyways, of course, the special visitor is the president, coming to wish Kenan or thank Kenan for saving his life.
I want to point out real quick here. We said earlier, not a good Chris episode. I think this is a very good episode for Kenan's parents. I loved watching them in this one.
Yeah, well, they were pretty comfortable for sure.
Yeah, they were having they're there in the nurse's room, in the hospital room, I should say, with Kenan, and they are also similarly flabbergasted when the president arrives. Roger says a really good line. He says, "All right, everyone, P's and Q's. Pretend like you've been somewhere before."
Is that what he said?
Yeah, he does.
I didn't hear
that's
that.
the exact line. So
what does P's and Q's mean?
Like mind your P's and Q's is a way of that people say of like act professional.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So
oh boy,
yeah, the president comes in and like thanks, compliments their kid Kiki, and to which Roger says, "Don't backtalk the president, Kiki."
Yeah, Kenan tries to correct him. Oh yeah, that's funny. Also, when Roger tries to introduce himself to the president, he says, "I'm Cheryl." I mean, and then he basically just,
"I'm Cheryl. This is my husband."
Yeah,
he says the full thing.
Just messes it all up.
Yeah, I like how his mom also like tries to correct him, but is just laughing, like uncontrollably.
Yeah, she's nervous laughing, like when she meets the president. It's a pretty good moment.
So the president has an award for Kenan. If accomplishing his life goal wasn't enough,
he hands him a box, and he opens the box. He opens the box, and he finds within it a Medal of Honor.
Fun facts about the Medal of Honor, and I want to get your take on this. The Presidential Medal of Honor is something that's awarded to members of the military. The Presidential Medal of Freedom is what's given to regular civilians.
Oh, no.
So, do you think the president misspoke? Or do you think Kenan's a member of the army?
I think the writers just kind of were free balling it. They just kind of went like, yeah, what? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they didn't have Google at the time.
I feel like this was it was a long day of filming, and they were like, all right, we got to get this over with. And that was like the last scene. Yeah, I love how much this medal looks like a medal that I got for playing youth soccer. Except it
really does.
Except it has the I think it has like the fist holding like a torch, like the Statue of Liberty on it. But it's just a little tiny medal, and then Kenan.
It looks like a prop of an Olympic medal.
It's not. It has like the red and white like striped whatever.
Yeah, it looks like neither of the medals I mentioned earlier.
No,
for the record.
No.
But what does Kenan read on the back of the medal?
I didn't write it down.
I have it
okay.
Here. And tell me if you noticed what I noticed. To Kiki, thanks for saving my life. If you're ever in Washington, come by the White House and say, hey, your pal, the President of the United States of America. Way too long to fit on the back of a medal.
Oh my God! Of course.
That's like.
They give you like one line for the name, and that's it, and maybe like what it's for.
Yeah, that wouldn't fit in like a tweet. How could that fit on?
That's like something you'd write inside of a card that you gave with the gift, not on the back.
Yeah,
engraved on the back of a medal.
It'd have to be like 8-point fonts, just like insane. And the fact that he doesn't have even the name, he says the full thing. Your pal, the President of the United States of America. Just
yeah.
It's so like a line in the script.
Comma, leader of the free world. It's like,
yeah, right.
Yeah. So, and then he, I forget. I think Kel starts nervous laughing too, and he says, "Oh, Sharona, you nut bar."
The president often refers to people as nut bars.
Yes, he calls people nut bars. Very uncomfortably. It's a very strange.
Kel thought that gift wasn't enough. He's like, well, you got no video games or anything like that?
Yeah, that's what it was. Before the president leaves, though, he he asks Kenan or Kiki if he's going to finish his sandwich, and then he grabs his sandwich. There's sandwich and Jello on Kenan's tray, and then he grabs his sandwich and he says, "See ya," and the president's a douche. Like he's just a jerk.
He's just a
this whole everything he did. He didn't go like greet people and shake hands and look in people's eyes and he just like wanted a slusho and he was like mesmerized at the orange soda castle and then he ate Kenan's sandwich and didn't even bother learning his name. So
he's very he's a little like kind of lightheaded
airhead space cadet.
It's kind of like an airheaded like doof,
perhaps like the current president.
Yeah. I question this episode if it was made today, what the world they would do.
It would have to be a fictional president.
Yes, as I thought as this was a kid, because that's probably why I was thinking. I'm like, no, the president isn't this much of a goofball. This can't be a real iteration of the president.
Yep.
But Kenan ends with, "I can't believe the president ate my sandwich."
Yeah, and then the transition to the next scene is taking bites out of the screen. That it's like they're eating a sandwich. That one was pretty clever.
Yeah. So it's a month later. Kenan has recovered from his injuries.
Yeah, the first time we saw such a long time lapse in Kenan and Kel.
Oh yeah. We know that because Roger is talking about how the next day he has to fly to Washington, D.C., which in the previous scene he said that he's going to be there for a conference in a month.
Oh, we missed this part. The other reason the president's a douche is because Mr. Rockmore, after Kenan reads the long engraving on the back of his medal, Mr. Rockmore says, "Oh, I'll be in Washington, D.C. next month." And he's like, "Maybe I'll come by." And he says, "No." And then he just takes Kenan's sandwich and eats it and walks away. So he's a jerk.
He's a jerk.
He's a big jerk. Okay, so basically the way this scene unfolds is Kenan asks if he could go along to Washington, D.C. And, of course, bring Kel. Kel doesn't really want to go. But,
he's like, he kind of cites the medal as a reference. He's like, look, he said he invited me, even though
the medal, which he's still wearing.
Yeah, which even though a month ago he literally heard his dad say, like, get shot down for wanting to actually go to the White House. No, it's funny because he says, Kenan had right here, line of the episode, which because so many layers. We'll get into this. He says.
Yeah, and the audience laughs because they catch on, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, because just in general, like at that time, good joke, haha. The president's always
Yep.
Clinton later on went on to be impeached for lying under court, lying under oath. So in hindsight, that's also really funny, and contrast that to the president nowadays, who continuous. It just that's a joke for the ages.
Yeah, timeless, truly timeless.
Kenan's parents are being real cool this episode because they're like, they have an agreement, and Roger ultimately is like, fine, we're leaving at 8:00, and he's indulges Kenan on this quest to visit the president.
And Kel is hesitant because Kel is afraid of airplanes. And Kenan points out that Kel is afraid of everything. Pancakes, butterflies, Brazil.
No, wait. It's I got that wrong my first watch.
Oh no.
It's not Brazil. It's Braziers.
Braziers?
Yeah. The 1996 Nickelodeon way of saying bras.
Oh. Oh my goodness.
Because Kel after every time Kenan lists one, he explodes more in fear.
Yeah,
and I think not Brazil. Yeah, could also be in a fill in the blanks there, but no, that's
a Mad Lib.
That's the joke.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so anyways,
Now for the second half of the episode, the real, the crux of it.
I can't believe it's taken us this long to talk about the first part.
Yeah, no,
Because I didn't think there was anything in that part. I thought it was just horrible. I'll get to my rating later. I don't want to be biased.
well, you can say that it's fine to say that you were disappointed in this one.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
All right.
Anyways, the president of the United States of America, leader of the free world, is sitting at his desk in the Oval Office, which is the beginning of the next scene.
Which I want to say, I looked up some pictures of the Oval Office, and this, like, must be like a set they borrowed from another show or something.
Yeah, it's like pretty accurate.
It's really good. Like, the alcoves are, like, in the right places, and...
Oh, really? They had to have borrowed
Yes.
it. Yeah, they definitely did.
I think the table in the center, like, lines up with where it was in the Clinton era, and there's, actually, like, a famous Lincoln, bust, like, where the comical one is. Like supposed to be. So it's yeah, there's some canon behind that.
That's good. That's good.
Yes. So we get into probably the biggest, like the craziest moment of this episode, I think. The president's secretary appears at the door, and or the front office manager, something like that, and she says that there's two people here to see you, like he's the boss of a corporation or something.
Like he's just sitting in his normal office.
like Luna Tuna had better security than this.
It's like a secretary. They got into the White House. They told the secretary. They convinced the secretary to go tell the president that he was there. The president says, "I don't have anybody scheduled."
And then they sneak up behind her and like burst into the room.
Yeah, they just exactly. It's funny, like the president is just sitting down. He has nothing to do. It's like, are you kidding me? You have nothing to do.
He gets the business in a little bit.
I know.
But yes, no, they
Being too critical.
I just think these two again. We're back to Hemingway. They were. We got mad when they like burst onto the front the roof of the Sears Tower.
This is next level.
They just push into the president's the Oval Office and grab the president in a hug.
I mean, I know it's pre 9/11, but like it couldn't have been that easy. Are you joking?
There's no Secret Service or
presidents have been
FSB.
Assassinated before. They didn't even have visitor passes.
and also with good reason. You're about to see the reason why civilians should be this close to the president.
Yes. We're going to break it down. The president gives them a little tour of the office. He's surprised to see them, but he recognizes them and he's like, "Why are you here?" And then he gives them a tour of the office. The first thing he shows them is the secret passageway, the secret hiding spot,
which is crazy.
Yes.
Hey, here's a, if there's ever like a terrible thing, this is where I'm hiding. How you get there? I'll tell you, kinds of teenagers.
Yeah, I'll tell you, 15-year-olds.
Yeah, but also he goes in to demonstrate this is where you could hide out, and Kel touches the book again and closes the door on the president, nearly killing him. They saved the president's life early in the episode, which is a fun moment, but Kel almost accidentally like smushes the president. And
then Kenan and Kel are trying to find the book, which there's one red book on the bookshelf, and so they're trying to find the book to undo the thing so that the president's no longer crushed, and they knock off every book in the bookshelf, and then they do it, and then anyways he's free.
Yeah, Kel says, "My bad," and the president, "Yeah, that really was bad."
Yeah, yeah, he's just like, yeah, that was pretty rough.
The fact that he doesn't like turn on them like right then is, I mean, he's kind of cool.
Cool.
He's a jerk, but he's like
would you? I don't know.
He's a take it easy president.
He's a take it easy president. Anyways, the next thing he shows them
is a giant wood carving of Abraham Lincoln that was made by his wife.
And it is very hideous, and they all agree.
Yep. But how much is it worth?
$20 million.
Ooh, an absolute butt ton in today's currency as well.
Oh yeah. And so then next to the bust is some pictures on the wall of the president with some of his favorite people.
Michael Jordan, he's sitting in the cockpit of an F-14, and his favorite picture,
Elvis, the day before he died.
So when was this photo taken?
Oh, I don't know.
This one I pulled that one in my notes because I'm like, well, I know the day. August 15th, 1997.
Oh no.
Yep, that was when the photo was taken.
But
I'm sorry, not 97, 77. Elvis died a long time ago.
What are you talking about? Elvis was not around in the 90s or 80s.
Yeah.
Okay. I wonder what the president did before he was the president. Was probably just a politician. How did he get so close to Elvis? These are all questions that are not answered in this episode.
No, and I didn't look at the timeline, but I'm curious 20 years ago. But it's a one-of-a-kind photo, and it's very valuable to the president. That's the important information here. So the president then receives a call on the red phone, which, do you know what the red phone is, right?
The red phone is like a big emergency.
Yeah.
Like nuclear war.
Like something insane is happening right now, and he, for as goofball as he's been, he treats it like incredibly serious, and he only uses like code phrases like, is there a situation? All right, I'll be right there, and stuff like that. So something's going down.
Yeah, something big.
And yeah, he lets Kenan and Kel alone in the Oval Office. Just by themselves.
Just meandering. Just looking around the office.
Yep, that is the setup for the entire episode. And now it's time for it all to just come crashing down.
Yeah, so Kenan and Kel are like, hey, let's check out that secret hiding place again. So they go back and they open it up and they go in. And
did you notice the delay in Kenan opening it?
There was a delay this time. Yeah,
he plays with the book once, and he plays with it again. Then it like slowly opens. Like it's clearly someone manually opening and closing that thing.
Yeah, they just like weren't paying attention, but they didn't want to do another clip. I'm telling you, I think this. It was filmed on a day where they had this borrowed set, and they were running out of time, and everything was kind of like going crazy.
Yeah. Because just the president's interactions with Kenan and Kel are so weird.
Yeah,
like he doesn't know what to do with them. They don't know what to do with him, and like they just
like doesn't the president know what to do when like people come to because like that's like a normal thing, like people visiting the president. It's like that's pretty standard.
There's tour guides in the White House.
Like what? I don't know, man. I don't know.
This is so the world of Kenan and Kel is very small and intimate. If these two teens can just kind of get into the White House this easily.
Anyways, as they go into the secret room, in marches King Daiko.
Yeah, King Daika, from a made-up country island. Do you have the name of that?
No.
It's something that sounds wrong whenever I think of it, and because it's not a
real place.
Yeah. It's.
Anyways, the king barges in again. No security. Like the secretary is just helpless, standing there like, oh no, I don't know what to do. And then the king barges in, and is like demanding money. And saying that he needs to speak to the president now, and he sits down and says he's not leaving until he sees the president. Like this is not
again like I would almost expect that from like a tuna company or like some business, but
this is not how the world operates. Like
it's the president.
It's foreign diplomats just barging in like
it feels
not
like
announced.
It feels like an SNL skit.
It does.
Or something like that.
It does.
Like this guy is clearly wearing this like ridiculous costume.
And note, it's a white guy with a beard wearing this like very foreign looking outfit, and talk.
Yeah, he's got like a cougar crown made of like cougar skin and like a sash, and he's got like a scepter.
Yeah, he's got like they literally like walked like to the Orlando like or whatever it is like the costume place, and they're like, oh, that one, and then they're just like, use the most ridiculous accent you can. He's like, I am not leaving until I don't even know what the accent is. But.
Yeah, I expect him to have like a crown and a red cape.
Yeah, it was really like how many kings are there? Or I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, but that said, versus the intro to the episode, I like that they made up a place instead of getting somewhere wrong. Right?
So in the intro, what do you mean in the intro?
It's like how they just speak different languages and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yes, it was better.
I think it's a little more culturally sensitive to make up a place.
Yep, I would agree.
Yeah, that's a safe move.
Yeah. So anyways, Kenan and Kel walk out of the secret hiding place. And
he mistakes them for like diplomats.
Yeah.
Even though they're 15 each.
Yeah, the secretary said she's gonna send somebody in to talk to him, and yeah, it's Kenan and Kel that enter next. And yeah, he's like, I am King Daika, and of
the island of Pelican or something like that.
Oh my gosh.
Just totally not a thing.
Well, anyways,
demands money.
He demands money, and Kenan and Kel are like, well, what's up, King Daika? And he's like getting all angry and like yelling at him, and they get all scared.
Did you hear what Kenan said when he was like looking for money in his pockets?
He said he had like $3.
He said, I've got about 3,075 cents.
Did he say that?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
To which King Daika replies, Dash Koot!
Yeah, just makes up words.
We don't know what Dash Koot means, but... And what does Kenan proceed to do?
Kenan walks over to the bust of Abraham Lincoln and offers it to the king and lets him know that it's worth $20 million. And then the king is very pleased, takes the bust, and runs out of the Oval Office. Like, this is not even close. It's not even that funny. It's just so preposterous.
Yeah, no. This is like beyond suspension of disbelief. This is a really like where the episode gets, in addition to the president's attitude, just a total cartoon is going on here.
I feel like they had a better idea for the episode and they were running out of time. They're like,
yeah,
okay, just make this up.
Yeah, the more you say it, the more this episode really feels rushed.
I'm telling you,
in a lot of ways.
There's a lot happened. What happens next? I forget. It's so jumbled.
Kenan's like, I think I handled that pretty well, which is insane that he just gave away a $20 million like statue. But yeah, no, he sits in the president's chair, pretends to be the president, and like picks up the red phone and says, Commissioner Earl, you nut bar. And on the red phone, just
like the nuclear launch code phone.
Yeah. But yeah, no, he goes over. He said he and Kel realize that no one's going to believe them that this happened, so they want to get a souvenir. So they say, hey, let's make a copy of the Elvis picture. Yeah. Which already pretty dang criminal.
Yeah, the only thing that the president cares about, seemingly.
And there's only one copy of it. The president chose to not make other copies.
Yeah, exactly. So they take this picture out of the frame, and it's so clear that this is a piece of computer paper. It's like not even a question. It has like a white trim around it. Like they didn't even bother.
But then they take it over to a really good prop of a copier, right?
Yeah, it looks like a beautiful copier.
Yep.
And so they put the paper in the top, and then the paper goes through the copier, falling down, and it's not a copier.
It's a shredder.
It's a shredder. I wonder how many times the shredding gig was used in like Nickelodeon and Disney TV shows.
Yeah, that's definitely I call it like aged in a bad way. It's one of those things where it's been overdone to death by now. It's
Yeah.
I know it. I can a couple episodes come to mind about how that was used better or more effectively, or just like as soon as shredders were invented, sitcoms started putting them into plots.
Yeah, it's like, oh, finally, and something else we can use. Anyway, so now Kenan and Kel have a shredded picture that is the most valuable thing to the President of the United States of America, leader of the free world.
And they start like rapidly attempting to tape it together. I do think Kenan and Kel are very funny in this scene.
Yeah, it's a good moment. I mean, the scene's long, but in this part of the scene.
Kel says, Kenan, this isn't a very good copy.
And then Kenan yells, "Why?"
Yep, fourth why for him of the show. It's becoming an episode, like every episode thing, but now. We've had a lot in a row. But yeah, I like when they're taping, they're also singing like the Bone song.
The Bone song?
They're like, yeah, the hip bone's connected to the...
Oh, yeah, they're trying to tape it back together. Yeah, that was really funny. That was a good moment.
They overhear the president singing the Slusho jingle as he's returning.
He's walking back in the room, singing the Slusho jingle, which
and
yeah. I think he also sang it when he was getting a Slusho in the beginning. But anyways,
you might be right.
Yeah.
But Kenan and Kel then do maybe the most illogical thing of this of the episode. They first try hiding and then like don't. And the scene ends with Kel crawls under the president's desk, then comes out the other side. Then Kenan does the same, but like gets himself underneath Kel's legs and then like rises up with Kel on his shoulders. Like it's how they got there. The image is very funny because it's them doing that in the Oval Office with the president arriving with a pizza.
Yes, the presidential
that's
pizza.
That's a very funny image, but just to get there, it's so many loops.
Yes. The president has a presidential pizza with 14 toppings on it. Extra large, but it looks like a medium. I don't know why. I don't know why. And
King Deka returns, being flanked by like a dozen Secret Service members.
Apparently they are there protecting the president.
Yeah, or I'm sorry, FSB members.
FBS.
Either one. But yeah, that's the part I think is realistic, is that there's like a dozen of them dealing with him. like they must have like every extra that they had put on a suit and glasses, and
yeah,
it's a whole crowd.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, he like takes the statue back and shames him for taking it, and he blames Kenan and Kel, and the diplomatic situation between their two countries is forever ruined because of Kenan and Kel.
Yeah, whatever that relationship looked like, it now looks terrible.
It must have been really friendly if King Deka could just like
stroll into
the Oval Office.
Could you imagine like a foreign dictator or a foreign leader like arriving at the Oval Office unannounced, just like strolling up? Like, how do you even get in? Like, don't you need like you go through like you just walk?
I've got a theory for you. In the same way that the president thinks that Kenan and Kel are two teens called Kiki and Sharona, maybe King Deka is like a crazy person. Maybe he's like someone else, like a janitor in the White House that has tricked the president into thinking that he's, and like other people into thinking that he's a foreign leader.
That's possible. Yeah. The crown kind of looks like a turban though, or like so. I don't know. I don't.
But yeah, to wrap this up, the payoff is that they're talking about the king as they eat the pizza, and Kel says the king, isn't that what they called Elvis? To remind the president of his picture, to make him look at the picture in shock and horror. Kenan and Kel grab the presidential pie and hide in the secret hiding spot.
And that's the episode.
And become federal criminals. Right?
Yeah, they're definitely criminals. They definitely destroyed property that belonged to the President of the United States of America, leader of the free world.
Their only defense is that he thinks that there's some other people.
That's true. He doesn't even have their last names.
Yeah, so maybe there's like they're wanted criminals under different names.
Yep, very possible. Very possible.
Would you say this is the most trouble they've gotten into so far?
I mean, the air traffic controller thing was pretty bad.
Yeah.
That could have been. They could have gotten a lot of people killed.
That's true.
So the last 2 episodes have been pretty out there.
Yeah, it definitely up there, ramping up. And I don't think we're gonna get much higher than bothering the president.
Yeah, the stakes are raised.
And yeah, messing with $20 million. So, yes. Okay. So, did you see the final part of this episode?
I did not, because the YouTube video cuts it out.
It's really bad. Again, unrelated. They have no comments on the episode, and what happens is that Kenan, basically gets beamed up like in Star Trek. Like Kel's like,
oh man,
don't stress me out anymore. And then Kenan's like, ready to be energized into a remote, and like a bad effect comes down on him. And then a bad transition as he disappears, and then Kel gets beamed up.
Is he wearing denim or felt?
I think it's a denim.
Gotta mix it up. All right, let's move on to the parts of the episode that the analyzing.
Let's wrap this thing up. Kenan and Kel have destroyed 240 cans of orange soda. It's like the president didn't repay them for that and almost killed him. So that's the kind of damage that they've done to Rigby's. No orange soda drank, believe it or not. Not a drop.
Wow, but yeah, the orange soda delivery was definitely a cost.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's added to what they owe Chris. But again, Chris he didn't seem to mind. He just kind of went with the flow.
Yep.
I want to ask. So yeah, as per usual, I want to ask you, whose fault do you think this episode is, Kenan or Kel?
Yep. Good question. I guess Kenan, because
I think he did more crimes.
I think the episode's like pretty normal. I mean, he just like. He's pretty innocent, honestly. He saves the president's life, and then he wants to go visit the president because he said he was invited. But then the whole like copying the picture thing, like that was where it all went bad.
And just giving away a $20 million presidential statue
to like a random stranger.
Plus the red phone incident. Let's just Kel's really along for the ride. I want to say this. That's what almost maybe feels like it was filmed like earlier than some of the others.
I would agree. Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, like maybe I wouldn't be surprised if in just like the pilot, like there's like a pilot scene that they made.
Yeah, it's possible.
And then added the other half to the episode like sooner.
That's possible.
I do want to say that this was written by 2 guys, Paul Dell and Stephen Weiss, which haven't written any episodes so far. So I think that I get that vibe when it's kind of out of step with a lot of the other.
It was a little out of step.
And they, I think, went on to write. No, this is their only episode that they wrote. So yeah, you can see that they're not super close to the source material.
Yeah. They just threw in like the orange soda gag and
Yeah, pretty much. They got the one note that, hey, include orange soda.
Yeah, right.
And finally, 3 important things we learned about everyone this episode. One is that Kenan, has accomplished a life goal.
Good stuff. Always a good thing.
That's like probably the best payoff. Kenan has now a presidential medal. Well, I'll refrain from describing what type of medal that is since there's conflicting information.
An honor society medal that you'd get in high school.
Yeah. And we learned that Kel is afraid of 4 things: airplanes, pancakes, butterflies, and braziers. Which is interesting considering the last episode where Kel landed an airplane. I guess he wasn't on one, but... he was afraid and stressed out in that situation. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, maybe that caused it. little PTSD.
Oh, whoa. Yeah, that's good insight.
Maybe there is a reason he doesn't like pancakes either.
Was that an ingredient in the cold medicine?
No. Are you kidding
No.
me? How could you forget the recipe?
But okay, yes, that's where we're at for the episode. All right, let's rate this thing. In the Line of Kenan. Oh wow. This is ranked very low on IMDb.
I know why. I did not enjoy it. I laughed twice, I think. I was kind of amused, but it wasn't that good.
Yeah, it's only got about a 6.7.
Yeah, I would give it. You convinced me to raise it, but I'd give it a 5. Yeah, I was gonna say 4 because it was just so much happening. But this analysis, it's like, yeah, I'll give it a 5. I think it deserved a 5. There was enough subtleties in it.
Yeah, I think you might have brought me down a little bit on the episode. Just looking back at it and the things that occurred.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's the more holes that we found, the more kooky it seems to get.
I mean, when I was watching it, it was just like, okay, very interesting. Classic, like going out of your way to save somebody important, and then I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, I liked it better than a couple other duds this season, so I'm gonna give it a 6.
Okay,
it's kind of right between mental telepathy and doing things the Hemingway.
Yeah, I don't know. I just got a different vibe from this episode. I think it was the writing.
Yep. Hey, that means you're really like in tune with Kenan, and
I
you're
am.
getting a good
oh
sense
my gosh,
for it now.
I'm a critic.
Yeah, when things are
I am
off.
a critic.
Okay. So, but next time we're back to Amazon for the following episode.
What is it?
And we've watched this one before, recently.
Oh yeah.
Dial O for Oops. Episode 10. So I think this is a better episode just off the bat, right?
I'm excited for it.
And I also want to say, next episode's it's the winning writing team's back.
Oh, good.
Kevin Coppolo and Heath Seyfertz.
What have they written?
Doing Things at Hemingway and
Oh, good.
Mo Sweater Blues.
Oh,
Yeah,
they're back.
so-
Oh, good. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. So thanks for joining us, Fantas, and we'll make sure to reach out to us on social media and let us know what you thought of this episode. If you thought it was a dud or if it was your new favorites.
We'd love to hear from you. And as they say in Mexico, oh, aquí vamonosotros. I'm so sorry. Vice.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for listening. You can send us an email at KenanCalPodcast@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at anchor.fm/KenanCalPodcast. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all at KenanCalPodcast.